All right, hello everybody. Back at it for another sweet website audit here with your favorite SEO, Nick Altimore from Sir Links-a-Lot. Okay, let's just jump right in. Here you've got a little graph from Ahrefs on kind of what's going on. Sorry about forgetting to add organic traffic to my last screenshot, but you still got the right idea. On this one, you'll note that although referring domains are going up, this graph is very stagnant. Now, there's a bunch of reasons. And again, this graph is organic traffic, sorry. There could be a bunch of reasons for this. Sometimes it's that it's a newer site, and we'll look into all that. But, keywords seem to be jumping up. Maybe there's some prodding going here with these peaks, but yeah, let's get a better indication of what's going on. First off, I'm going to start here with on-page factors, but first I'm just going to see a rough estimate of the age of this website, going to whois.com, seeing when it was registered. And it was registered early 2023, right? So we've got age behind it. That's a non-issue there. I'm going to try and see, if a decent amount of pages are indexed in Google. And we got about 3 pages using site colon. So let's chalk it up to like, maybe 25, 30 pages indexed in Google. For the age of the site, I would say that's not great. So let's go ahead and jump in. That's interesting. All right, let's jump in here. On page. Looks like this is some sort of maybe a SaaS product, maybe, or some kind of software that people can utilize to get some studying done. Who doesn't love that? Website looks really clean. Everything looks nice. Looks pretty, I mean, if this thing works, it's pretty advanced. Sounds interesting, and I could see this being pretty marketable. Good branding. Yeah, I like that. Now, one thing that I don't love just right out of the gate here is in your header, you've got join and log in. I feel like you'd want some more resources up there, right? About maybe some accolades. Look at what your competitors are doing, but I think you're missing out on some opportunity up here. And it just doesn't, I don't know, to me it doesn't read well having a header that's set up like this. I would alter that, get some more information up there that's then crawlable by these bots. Now in the footer, at least I guess this is a footer, or at the bottom of the page, you've got something else I see here is in Whois, this site is held by Squarespace. And if this is built on Squarespace, then I would highly advise it's time to get off of there and go to something that's more intuitive if you're going to be doing SEO, etc., like WordPress, where now I would say 99% of my sites are all going to be WordPress, right? Maybe some HTML, but I don't even have that as anywhere near a preference anymore. So yeah, look there if that's one of these issues. So let's see, you've got a blog, and that'll tell me whether this is an actual footer. All right, you've got some information here, not very much of it, and yeah, that footer stays at the bottom. You've got socials to Twitter and Facebook, and all that's branded out. Looks okay, or to Reddit rather. So you're using AI images for all of these blog articles. And again, there's not very many of them. The last one, and they're dated. Okay, it came out yesterday, actually. So that's great. Get your content up and running. This is way too sporadic for how old, your first article went up July 2024. And then you're doing like little sporadic blips of content and then stopping and doing the same thing. So, you want a steady content plan that's going to, entice the crawlers to come back on the regular and see what's going on here. Using AI for your images, I think, is good. I do it too. Oh, look at this. You have an author up at the top who's the founder here, but this should link to an author page, right? Help you out with some EEAT here. Same issue as the last one I did. No real EEAT as far as I'm seeing. And this is a good opportunity here. If you're showing your face, that should be linked to an author page, to your socials, and get you a little bit more help with EEAT there. Just real quick, looking at the article itself, it's hard to differentiate whether, from the naked eye, whether this is AI content or not. But if you are using AI content the same way, this is an AI-based website, you're using AI images, probably AI in other capacity, I would just make sure that you are human editing this stuff, okay? Especially, you don't have a lot of pages indexed, but now I'm seeing that there's not a lot of pages to this site, which I think is probably part of it. That EEAT, I'd flesh out the footer a little bit more with maybe again, name, address, phone number, things of that nature. Let's see what you've got in your about page. Yeah, flesh that out. There's quite a bit of stuff that can be done here on page. Again, EEAT is going to be a big one. Type that into YouTube Sir Links a lot, and we've got resources there, including a video with Kyle Roof that goes into it pretty in depth. But yeah, it kind of looks like the content of this site is a bit neglected, and that's getting a regular monthly content campaign going alongside your backlinking campaign is going to do you some justice. And then get some stuff like EEAT going on here to really kind of pull the narrative of your website together and make it stand more like a business rather than just is from a crawler standpoint, this is maybe not so fleshed out, right? So yeah, and then the header. Personally, I would add some more categories up there. That's up to you. But on a personal note, I think that looks a lot more natural than what's currently going on here. But overall, still a good start. Everything's really nice. I like the branding because it's similar to our branding in some sense. So yeah, very cool. Let's go ahead and let's jump into the back end and look at what we've got going on here with backlinks, right? So, we got 99 referring domains. Pretty decent URDR here for 99 domains. I'm going to say that your backlinking plan is probably not all that bad. And, here, only 156 keywords. I would want to see that be higher, but it's pretty hard to say because, again, let's go back here. This is a fairly new product. Let's go back to your on page. I don't know exactly what keywords you're targeting here, right? Like some of them might be study tools or something like that, right? But you're going to have to flesh out the topical map of this website if you really want to target the stuff that you're trying to market to, right? I think you've got something good here. I think the website is currently lacking, and that's what's holding you in these positions here and kind of flatlining you because you're not losing rankings. You're not getting popped by any algo updates, nothing like that. This just seems stagnant, right? But we know backlinking is not stagnant, and it's probably not toxic or it'd be pushing you down more. So let's go ahead back to the off page. I'm going to start with anchors. That's where I always like to start. Looks pretty good. I'm going to guess there's some spam in here, though, just given how many of each link's referring domains I'm seeing, how many references to it. But natural anchors, I don't see anything that's over optimized. Honestly, it looks very pillowed. And I'm going to guess that's probably what's going on, is mainly some pillowing. Nothing looks over optimized. If anything, it's under optimized in the sense that, like, I can't look at this anchor text profile and even tell what this company is about, which isn't necessarily a good thing either. It's probably a good thing from where we're currently at, which my guess is foundational link building has been handled. Just going to check the referring domains real quick, get a feel for how strong we're looking at. Everything looks fine here. And let's just jump right into backlinks. And let's see what we've got going on. My guess is, again, a lot of pillowing and probably not a lot of very strong guest post niche edit type links. Yep, directory. Sort of a guest post, but on a site anybody can kind of do this at. Yeah, and a bunch of stuff where you'd want to see yourself, right? So this is all relatable to what you're doing, but a lot of it is super easy backlinking. You know, I would call it more on the spammier end. However, this is where you'd want to see this kind of product on a lot of this. So I'd say foundational link building is set up here. What you're missing out on is, you know, the guest post niche edits. But I don't think I would really just start hammering down with that until I get my content more squared away. You need to build out this topical map so that you're targeting related things that would interest the user and becoming a member, you know, to this product, right? And so those are the content campaigns I would start going after. And as you get that going, then yeah, start adding different kinds of links besides these. They're not all directories. Some of them are useful for SaaS type stuff, right? So I get that, and that's valuable. That's what's kind of giving you some DR here. However, this DR honestly feels inflated given what you're on. You're actually missing some of the authority link building that I would recommend having. So to reiterate, on page needs more content building. Some EEAT is worth looking into / doing. And then just, you know, keep that process ongoing, right? You want to target things that are going to end up equating to cash in your pocket, new clients, right? And then a backlinking campaign with more authority in mind versus you've got all the foundational link going. Once you get your content plan mapped out, you get EAT going, then go ahead and, again, you know, niche edits, guest posts, or, you know, you can look into our MLB program, monthly link building program, where we do the campaign for you, backlinking campaign, no fees added, and get reporting monthly by a expert. Everything handled for you, no additional costs. So worth a look at. If this helped you in any way, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.